Hey everybody, welcome back. It is Wednesday and we are here again for day 2 of our packaging bootcamp. My name is Nick Longo. I am a packaging design specialist, I can say at this point now. We've been doing tons of packaging over the last 10, 15 years. I'm based here in Los Angeles, California. And again, like I mentioned, we're here for day 2. Going to take you on a little journey of what we did yesterday and give you a preview of what we're going to be doing today. Again, I'm going to need chat's help a little bit on some fun copy ideas for some of the flavors we have for our brand that we're putting together. This is going to be a fun time. We're actually going to be getting into the nitty gritty of the design of the first packaging, and we'll see how far we could do in this session of 30 minutes. Should be really fun. So let's take a look and see some of the boards we did yesterday, and I'll give you a little quick rundown of what we did. After all this is all said and done, for sure we'll be giving you on Friday a little link to where all of this stuff will live, so you guys can have all of the boards and everything that we're putting together, including a lot of these tips and tricks. But we went through the fundamentals here of what packaging is and all the things that it needs to be. Again, as I mentioned, I love doing this because for me, packaging is a storytelling thing, and we looked at a lot of stuff. Great samples here of some beautiful packaging to see like what stories they were telling, and we kind of looked through them and all the different levels of packaging that you can do as a packaging designer. It does not just mean a primary piece, right? You could do all of these really cool stuff. Then we talked about the steps and how you should do a little discovery and a little sketching and a little refining at that point. It really does take those kinds of steps. And then we talked about brand voice and personality and things. And we built a brief basically asking questions to either the company owner or the brand owner or whoever is in charge of kind of like having this DNA of what the brand should be. And I love working in these kind of ways because we get to find out all about the brand itself, and we do the research, we do the discovery. And then where we kind of ended off was we looked at some brand boards and we looked at things like how you can kind of wrap around and kind of capture what the plan is, right? You want to make sure you and the client are talking about where we're going to go. You don't want to spend time designing stuff if it's not 100% in line with where that brand is going and all of the stakeholders know exactly where you're going. So we put together these brand boards and we gave them this stuff and we got right into this thing. And you can see I've done a little bit of work here on our brand building page, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit here and you'll see what I'm talking about. So we came up with Presto. Presto is the name of our instant cookie in a bag. And the whole idea here is you can just pop the whole thing in with the bag and put it into an air fryer or a toaster oven, probably for that matter. And you get this freshly baked cookie, within a minute or two. And the idea here was that it was all based on magic, fantasy, full of wonder. These were some of the things we talked about that were building our brand. And it has to be fun. It's got to be a little bit quirky, a little bit classic. And this idea of this Victorian old magician vibe, right? I think there was something really cool about that. Also, what is so cool about this idea of like magic, magician, illusion is it starts not only the story that you want to tell in your packaging, but there are so many great vocabulary words and phrases and things to use that you can interject into your brand. And I think that's where it starts to have a little bit of fun, and the consumer really gets that idea that there's more to this than just a cookie. It's actually something kind of fun, and we're going to kind of reinforce that with all these fun things. So we got to this area where we were looking at some fonts and we were looking at personality, and we really like this one on the left, the Presto here. And for those of us that were with us, we did remember this was Hermona is the name of the type there. This one was called Rumble Brave. It was a close second. But what I really liked about the one on the left here, this one here, is how identifiable it was from far away. And so I just started messing around with some ideas here. A lot of this is found on Adobe free stock. Being that we are really pressed for time and we're doing quite the little crunch here on design with our small sessions here, I wanted to take a head start and maybe give ourselves a little bit of an advantage by seeing what things were out there. All of these little graphics and fun things I found by doing a few little searches on Adobe stock. And you can see we've got all these fun little things. So I took it to the next level overnight, and I did this little kind of section here. We're calling it Presto Magical Treats, and this was kind of maybe a cool badge that we can have. I found some other ones that are all in the same zone. So again, trying to keep everything in the same family as we build. Found some neat little ornaments. I thought this might be fun to kind of mess around with and give us a initial cap or a monogram with the P, having some fun there with the Full of Wonder. We've got the magic wand. We've got some really cool things to mess with. And where I left off was kind of in this zone. And these were kind of some of the things. I just make squares. This is kind of my first attempt. I'm not even thinking of packaging just yet, or what I'm looking at size wise. I just want to see how these things start working together with the color palettes that we've chose. How does this logo start standing up to things? Do we need to lessen the background? You know, all these fun little ideas. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to take all these elements and we're going to build a package. And I'm going to switch over to Dimension really quick, because this is where I would start at this point. I'd love to know how many of you in chat have used Dimension yet. I still am kind of surprised at how many people haven't really opened this or tried it out. I could tell you it is by far the #1 app in the last 2 years that has increased my productivity. It has increased my customer satisfaction. It has increased the visuals that I'm using in my portfolio, because this is such a fantastic app and it's so easy to learn. All I did was I found this simple model, and this is like basically like a potato chip bag. You can see it here. I'm gonna spin it around for you and take a look so you can see what I'm talking about. You can actually, the coolest thing about this is if you have an actual bag from your vendor, you can go right in here into size, and you can custom this to the exact size of the bag that you're talking about. So it's not like mock-ups that you would get and be fixed with that size. I can actually take this and give it the custom size that it needs. So all I did here was made a quick screen cap of this. That's all I did. I put my blank bag right on Dimension, and I'm going to show you what I do. I bring it over here, and I'm going to have it on Illustrator. I've just taken the screen cap and I've brought it in. And then notice what I did. I put some blue lines here. It's just my initial guides. You can see here, you get the crimping on the top and the crimping at the bottom. What that technically means is you don't want to have anything of importance there, any type or anything that will get distorted with the crimping of the bag, right? You can have patterns and maybe background. That's okay. And then notice on the sides, the gusset of the bag is going to kind of tilt in a little bit. So I don't want any important information maybe past those blue lines as well. So what I've got is this kind of idea here that I'm going to just start building here. All I've done is I have my guideline on one layer, and I have a black background in the back as my kind of like beginning piece here as well. Cool. It looks like a lot of you have been checking out Dimension as well. I see Becca, you've been using it as well. Yeah, the render quality, you can do it on super quick if you just need a quick render. But when you put it on the full render and give it a few minutes to generate something, your client, everyone will be so happy. And it kind of, sometimes I hate to say it, it's taken the place of photography. And I love being able to do that for my clients. So let's take this. I'm going to grab this, and notice I brought this little kind of like cool little image here, and we'll place it here. And I'm just going to start building kind of an idea here for this idea. And the first cookie we're going to do, and I'm going to need some help here. Okay, so we've got Chocolate Cadabra. That is our first one we're going to do. I've got Hypnotized Hazelnut, and I've got Spellbound Pink Lemonade. And I think you could see here what I'm talking about by bringing in these keywords. They're so much fun to play with. So Chocolate Cadabra is going to be the first one I'm going to mess with. So chat, I need you guys to give me a description line. How would you describe the Chocolate Cadabra cookie? It's just a chocolate chip cookie, but we want to make it a little magical, drop in some fun kind of magic words in there as well, and give me one sentence that you think would be a really great description for it right under where it says Chocolate Cadabra. Okay, so I'm going to grab this guy as well. We're going to copy that. We're going to go back to this. I'm going to bring this down here, and you can see I'm just starting to play with some ideas here as well. One thing I made myself a little note of here is this term called trade dress, and you'll see this in a lot of different packaging. Trade dress is basically, imagine a border or some kind of base. Sometimes it's on the top, sometimes it's on the bottom. There's no limit to where it can be, but it is another identifiable feature that can allow you to have these really cool kind of borders that are going to be down there at the bottom. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself a quick little base here, and we're going to do it in this cool little gold color for now. For now, I'm just gonna move the cookie aside. And what I wanna do is I wanna give it that touch. I have some stars. We've got some really cool things here. So let's go back here. Let's see, I'm gonna take maybe this kind of star right there, and we'll bring it over here. So what I'm gonna try to do is maybe make a cool little border treatment with this as well. So you can see I can have some fun with this. I can bring this here. We could do like a cool little star kind of repeat. So all I'm doing is with Option, dragging this over here, and then we can do something like this, okay? Perfect. So I'm gonna grab all of these together. And you can see it's just giving me the hint of the star there as a cool little decorative kind of thing. Think of it as a crown. It kind of reminds me of like the crown at the top or the bottom of, you know, something royalty based. So there's that, and we're gonna group it. You can see I've got kind of like what could be a cool little thing here. And if I want, I'm gonna make a blue version or this black version, and this will be like a reversed out version of it. So I'm gonna do this, turn it here, and then maybe what we'll do is between each one, we'll do a much smaller one, and this could be our trade dress. So again, I'm finding ways to make identifiable pieces that will help me kind of see, like from far away, if someone sees that particular border, they're gonna be like, ah, that's it, perfect. Oh, let me see what we guys got here. Chocolate Cadabra is insanely cool. Okay, Chocolate Cadabra, homemade, soft, delicious, cool. Love that, Samantha. Give me something that's kind of a little magical, right? Like how would a magician describe our chocolate chip cookie at this point, right? So something like that. Okay, so I'm gonna put this cookie in here as well. One thing I could do is I can give this a quick drop shadow just to see how this is going to look. So I'm gonna just copy it, and then I'm gonna do a Command B for paste in back. Right now there's a cookie in the back, right behind that one, and I'm just gonna unify it. You can't see it, but right there, if I copy it and paste, that's what I have, right? Cool. So it's right behind there. I'm gonna give it a quick little drop shadow, just because I want something to kind of separate it from the border there. Right now it's at 75.09, not too bad. So there we go. So we can start to see how things are looking here. I think for sure this is gonna go maybe a little bit higher. So what do we got? Magical taste that will melt will melt till it disappears. I like that. How about maybe like a mouth-watering magical chocolate chip cookie or something like that would be kind of cool. Enchanted chip. Ooh, Becca, that's kind of cool. So let's do that. Keep writing if there's anything there, because all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ellipse tool and we're going to do a quick little circle right about there. Let's get rid of the fill, and I just want a quick, like a light white stroke on it so I can see where I am at. I think you guys know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some text on a path. So I'm going to find a good spot where it kind of resembles the same radius as the cookie there. And we'll go here. And I'm going to put this here. And we're going to go chocolate Cadabra. All right. We're upside down. Not looking too good. We'll just do a quick spin this way. And I'm going to give it that. Cool. What was the new font I brought in? I think it's here somewhere, and you guys can see which one it is. Let's see. What was it called? Oh, here it is. So it's called Etna. So I found this on Adobe Type. Etna, I thought was a nice complementary font to our main font. So you can see here, nice, looks great. To help kind of separate it a little bit, I'm gonna bring it down in size. And then I'm going to spread out the letter spacing because we want this to go all the way around. Enchanted chips is really cool. I like that. All right, cool. So there we go. So Chocolate Cadabra looks great there. I think we're going to need to bring him up. And as I'm designing, I'm starting to see where this is looking, how things are kind of messing around here, and are we looking good? So got the Chocolate Cadabra, and then maybe at the top here, I can do another bit of a trade dress because we have that space. That's not, I don't know. I think that's lightening it up a little bit too much. Maybe what we could do is we can put a little blurb here that talks a little bit more about that Cadabra, Chocolate Cadabra's flavor. And hopefully we're getting something there. Let's see. Chocolate, come to the dark side. All right, cool. So I'm going to put this here. What I'm going to do really quick is just give myself, let's see here. If I go right about there, Command R gives me some rulers, and that way I've got a center point so I can see where I'm going. Yeah, it was way off. Look at that. I can't center things visually. I don't know. Are you guys the same? Sometimes I look at it, I'm like, yeah, that looks dead center. And then I actually check it with, see, that doesn't even look it. Oh, so it's technically because we've got this extra flare there. So I'm going to do it with the cross of the utensils there. Notice I got a little utensil and a spatula as our icon there. So I think that's looking pretty cool. We're getting somewhere there as well. Some of the things I brought over here, I think I have, yep, our net weight. So this is something, this is what I call those like those necessary evils that always mess up, but you got to get them in there. These are the things as far as fluid ounces, net weight. This has got to be on everything that's food based, and we'll give it our new Etna. That looks cool. We'll get rid of the letter spacing there. And we got this ready to go. So we'll find a nice spot for that. Maybe it can go right about, we can actually stack it, which would look pretty cool. So we'll do net weight. There we go. That looks cool. And then I'll put it in our dark color and we'll put it right there. Perfect. Look at that. Fits nicely. It's looking really good as well. One thing I want to start thinking about is what is the background? What are we going to do here? We have a lot of those cool, magical little things here that I brought together. So here's a few. Which one do you guys like? I've got this kind of spiral star pattern here. We got this more like cosmic one. And then this one's kind of neat too. This one kind of reminds me of like, it feels geometry, math, kind of astrology, but it does feel a little bit magic, you know? Yeah, all right, Carol. What should we pump it up to? 4 ounces? I did a quick look at Famous Amos cookies and it said 2 ounces in a little bag. So I was kind of shocked. I thought it was going to be a little bit more than that. All right. So for now, let's grab, I think this one has a fun vibe. Let's take that one. And let's zoom out. We'll go back to our bag here. I'm going to hit save because I am usually the guy that doesn't save and I get a crash or something and don't like to rebuild things. So don't forget to save. Perfect. Let's bring this in here. And remember, this can go anywhere because what's cool about this is this can go all the way to the crimp edges here. This can go bleed. It's not an important feature. It is not something that I have to worry about as far as it being, you know, like readable if it gets caught in the crimping of the bag. So let's put it here. I don't know. What do you guys think? It's kind of a little boring. I think I want that little, I want this guy. Let's try this. Sorry, I'm bouncing all over the place, but I love the hand tool because you can get this, you can move your artboards around and have some fun. This looks cool. All right, there we go. That looks a little bit better. So copy X, and then I'm gonna paste it in front of that. So it looks pretty cool. I think we're getting somewhere there. How about the color though? I don't know if the color is dead on with what we want. So what I'm gonna do is I've got this one. This is a pretty dark blue kind of vibe here. I think that looks cool. I don't want pure black. So with this one here, if I take this and make it the same here, I can go and in my swatch file, I could double click here and kind of start messing around and finding a different color that's based on that, but it has a kind of unique vibe to it as well. And you can see it's kind of working pretty cool here. So I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger and get this centered in there nicely as well. That looks good. Now there's one thing we have to tell people. We have to tell them about this 1 full pound. I love it. That would be one giant cookie for sure. All right, so we need to tell them a little bit about what this is. So I've got a few things here. Let's see. I think I wrote it somewhere here. Oh, here we go. So instantly baked cookie or the air fry cookie in a bag. Which do you like better? Do you like instantly baked cookie, or do we tell them a little bit more about it and we call it the air fry cookie in a bag? What do you guys think? Kind of like, I think if we go specific to this air fry thing, there was something fun about that I really kind of liked. So I'm gonna grab that. We'll kind of do a quick match to our font. This is where you start saying like, oh yeah, I've got plenty of room on this thing. And then next thing you know, you're bringing in all these elements and little by little, it's like, oh man, like I'm really crowding this up a bit. You can kind of start to see that. So there we go. So we've got our fun little mention here. Did we go off with our, let's see. That one goes here and I think it goes there. We'll bring that back to our circle. Perfect. All right, how much time do we have? Okay, we got about 5-7 more minutes there, looks like. All right, cool. So we got this ready to go. That's looking pretty neat. Presto Magical Treats, Chocolate Cadabra. We're not even, we got cookie here as well. So we got that mentioned as well. Yep. You like the air fry one? I'm kind of digging that as well. And again, we're building this so like Presto could be more than just that, right? Cool. So now let's get to that solution. I think we have time to figure out where to put the description text. So what I'm going to do is this chocolate cadabra, I think we got to get that a little bit different in color. So I want to get that like almost like an antique white, kind of like in there. A lot of times using a bright white could really push this thing maybe too far, a little bit too much in your face. So I want to make sure we're kind of still subtle, but we got just enough here. I can actually go about that much bigger. There we go. Cool. So did we come up with a description line? I know we have full of enchanted chips or something like that we could do. Let's try this out. So I made just a quick copy, and I have a smaller version right about there. And this obviously needs to be, whoops, we went way too small. Let's go maybe right about there. And we're gonna decrease the letter spacing a bunch because we want this. And I'll probably do this in like upper and lower case, so it looks a little bit different. So let's make it a bit bigger. There we go. And let's see, how about if we say chock full of enchanted chips? You guys like that? So let's see. Let's see, doesn't the cookie look a bit flat? Yeah, I think it does for sure. We could definitely even play around with bringing in a real picture of something if that needs to be, or we can look real quickly and see if there's some cool ones as well. So we could say like full of enchanted chocolate. Oops, there we go. Perfect. Nice. There we go. Let's see how it's looking really quick. Cool. We're getting somewhere. As well, I can raise this up a little bit. It's always neat. You're always adjusting because as you're bringing things in, it's kind of unique and interesting. Let's see. Did I have a different photo? We have this one. Let's try that. Something like that. It's probably the perspective. I think what we'll try to do is overnight, I'll try to look for a more kind of real one there as well and see. So perfect, looks good. Now I'm gonna do a really quick check and see if we can do something here. Watch this. I'm gonna grab everything here, and with the exception of the ruler there. I'm just gonna do a quick copy. I'm not getting the guideline because that is locked. Let's go back to dimension really quick, right? And what I'm going to do is let's take this and I'm going to do a quick save to library. And I've made a new library called, I think I called it the same name of what we're trying to do here. So once that gets into our library, we could do a quick check and see how this is looking over on dimension really fast. So watch this. I didn't think we'd get this far here, but I'm going to scroll down. Let's find our graphic. There it is. Artwork 1. We're going to drag it right over here. Oh, Steve, you were watching the Apple presentation too? Same. All right, let's get that here. I can't believe I'm competing against Apple today. All right, so it's a little pixelated, but again, I can start to see how this is starting to look. Looks like I gotta go a little bit more stretched this way. There we go. And again, I'm going to show you how we can kind of customize this a bit more, but I'm going to go a little bit in and do just this quick render to see. And I'm getting an idea of how this is starting to look. I can see like my background's not bright enough. I can see that maybe that gold. One quick little thing I can do is I can add in metallic here and we can start seeing how that's going to look. You double click on your source file and you just drag over and you can see I'm getting a little bit more of like a sheen on there, which is kind of neat. Do a quick little render and see. Yep. I like the more of the reflection there. That's kind of cool. But I'm getting this idea of like, yeah, everything's fitting. We could definitely see, to your point, guys, that the cookie is just not that intriguing. We got to get something a little bit more, even totally more illustrated or a real one. I think the real one could really break through and be the only realistic thing there while everything else is vector and super sharp. So that's looking pretty cool. I like that as well. Nice. So go back here. I can see this one. I want to bring this back a little bit lighter. Let's go here. That looks great. A little bit better there. We know we're going to mess with the cookie a little bit. There's not much else I really need to do, except I think it would be fun to maybe just do one little trade dress at the top. I love that you get that crimped kind of vibe, right, from the way this has always got the triangles at the top. So I'm going to do just this quick little thing here. I made a triangle, squish it a little bit, and we're going to do our same little thing. We're just going to crown it with another little trade dress on the top. And let's get that here, group it, and we'll put it like maybe like right here. And I can obviously mess around and see the best way to get it, line it up nicely with our guidelines. So the points are right about there. Cool. It even gives like, maybe, I think what we'll try tomorrow is maybe like a theater kind of vibe, like, you know, kind of like looks like the curtain at the top has been open. That might be something kind of fun to do. But I think this looks really, really cool for a beginning starting plan. And what I love doing is when I have something as simple as this, and I think it's kind of in a zone that looks good, I'm going to take it, bring it here, and make just maybe just a few little options. And here's where I can kind of mess with and be like, did I like some of these other colors that I had here? So do I make this one maybe a little bit lighter? Maybe this one could be more of like a greenish one. That would be kind of cool. So let's get a little more of a green tint to it. That might be neat. And you can start to see like, oh, maybe this is what changes per cookie as well. Everything else stays the same, but I'm starting to get an idea of how this trade dress is going to work. So maybe this one could be more of a dark, dark, dark orange. Let's see, that could be like our Halloween one if we do something neat like that. So there you go. You can see we've got something kind of the starting points here. Tomorrow, we're going to go into it a little bit more. We're going to really finesse, and the whole goal after tomorrow is going to have that one final one that looks really, really great. And then we'll even try to duplicate it and see if we can get a second one as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was day 2 of our boot camp. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. Hope to see you guys there, and get ready with some questions and a lot of other copy helps. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.